This is the Business Owners IT Podcast with Anthony Gerasch and Ryan Carter, where tomorrow's technology meets today's conversations.
Hi, I'm Tony Gerasch.
And I'm Ryan Carter, and this is the Business Owners IT Podcast.
A podcast where we discuss tips, tricks, and solutions for business owners involving all things tech.
Hey, business owners, does this sound like you? Your computer's about 7 years old. It's time to replace it, says your MSP. And you're like, no, let's get more life out of it. I don't care if Susie's computer's slow. Okay. Would you like to sign up for our managed services today? No, I'll just do break fix. You charge me by the hour when you fix something. Okay, cool. Susie's computer now doesn't work. We sent our junior tech out there because, well, you're cheap. And we want to make sure that that computer gets fixed. But guess what? Junior tech only knows how to fix. So he's trying to fix Susie's computer. Cannot fix it. Spends about 6 or 7 hours on it. Can't get it fixed. Finally, he gives us a call. And we're like, why'd you spend 7 hours on a computer, right? When we could have just bought him a new one for cheaper. So now we bought him a new one. And we sent you a bill for junior tech's hours. So now you're at about $2,000, $3,000 to fix Susie's computer because you didn't have a replacement when you asked you to. Common scenario, I know. And I'm just being a jerk here, because I just see it a lot, and you guys probably have things you complain about in your business. But how can that outage say? You know what I'm saying, Tony? Like what can we do to help them on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's common, right? How can a 20-minute outage can cost you more than a new computer? That's the headline on the thing here. Well, here's the thing, right? So obviously we don't do a whole lot of break fix, but we do get a whole lot of emergency calls, and sometimes we will send some guy out there to find out that they're running Windows XP still. But, that's not this scenario that he's talking about. But the thing of it is like, if you have business critical PCs or business critical hardware, you should be replacing it every 5 to 7 years. And when you buy it, when I say 5 to 7 years, I'm talking about buying the best PC, right? So if you were to buy a PC today, right, you buy the best one, and you're going to get the most life out of it. You don't buy one that's doesn't have the specs, right? That's the most inexpensive PC to just get you up and running, because you're going to be replacing that thing, because that computer that costs $300 or $400 less than the computer that costs $400 or $500 more is probably an older computer with a slower processor, less memory, and yeah, you need to get on a hardware life cycle replacing hardware that doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, the whole scenario I made up was just a joke. I was just having fun with it. But, there is a real cost to having downtime. And if you're not replacing on a certain schedule, or if you're not buying the top-of-the-line PC, which is fine, but you do have to look at that 3 to 5 year range of replacing that PC. And when it starts running slow, you need to do something about it. Even if Susie's holding on to that computer because doesn't like change. But the moment you put that computer in her hands, that productivity is going to go up, and you're going to see a lot less downtime. And that's more money for your pocket.
Yeah, and if you think about retail, right, if their point of sale or system or things aren't working and that goes down and it's really busy, if you're like a bakery, you're real busy in the morning, or if you open up on Monday and the secretary or administrative person's computer doesn't work, but you need something done, you need this done, that done, how much does that cost?
Yeah.
Right. And again, how long does it take to get fixed? Because, some people don't have service providers, right? They just go out and buy a new computer, put it in there, and may not even transfer their data because they don't know how. They get into their email and they start all over again.
Yep. And, in the retail scenario too, I mean, in this day and age, people don't wait.
Yeah.
If the line's long, I walk on. It's just, I'm sorry. I guess that's just how I am now.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to wait. So are your customers going to wait?
And that's another thing too, right? Well, so if you have an IT service provider, MSP, and maybe you don't have redundant hardware everywhere, but they're maintaining everything pretty well. Whether it comes to switches, firewalls, internet, wireless, whatever, right? When you work with an IT service provider, usually they have that stuff, right? They can run out there and put it in, and you're still going to be down, but you're going to be up a lot quicker, right? But continuously being down is not a good scenario.
Not at all. And another one too that really you need to look at your hardware lifecycle report and have spares for is if you have remote workers.
Yeah.
Because their downtime's a lot. If they're down and they can't work at all in the beginning of a day and they're out in the middle of nowhere, you got to ship them that PC and get one back. So you got to make sure you have backstock of PCs, so you're not waiting for them, or laptops. It's just there's a significant cost there.
Yeah, and then the other thing too, right? And I'm sure again, if you don't have a service provider, right, what you guys as business owners will see is you come in on, Wednesday morning, and your PC's been on all night, and and then you go to reboot it because something's not working. All of a sudden, it's applying updates for hopefully less than 5 minutes, but on old computers it could be 20 minutes. It could be an hour. I mean, you could be sitting there, right, with the window, because the patches come out on Tuesday if you're not managing those. And the next thing you know, you're just sitting there waiting for that computer while the customers are backing up out the door.
Here's another one, too. Sorry. If you have old hardware in your environment and you want to keep the computers but buy a new server, the new server will not make the computers faster. We have gone through that scenario multiple times now where they just want to keep their same computers, and they buy the server, and then when we hook the new server up, it actually might even run slower because the software that's on the servers is now newer than what's on the computers, and they don't talk right to each other. That happens, and it's a funny scenario when they call you, why doesn't it all work? We just bought the server. Like, we told you to get the hardware too. I mean, there's so many caveats here. Yeah,
and then we'll see it, right, where we saw this a couple times where we put out a new server and maybe the owner gets a new PC and he wants to know why his stuff opens up in 30 seconds or a second, and the other staff members it takes 5 minutes. Well, you got all new hardware, right? You're running on SSD drives. You have a lot of memory. You have the newest operating system. Talking the newest operating system there. So again, what is that productivity worth? I mean, new computers aren't that much, but you're losing productivity on the other side when you're sitting there waiting. I mean, we seen it in our own thing with Jillian. Remember, I got all mad. I was trying to do something, and it was taking forever. And I'm saying, why does she still have this old computer? Well, Jillian didn't want to part with the computer. That's the bottom line. The bottom line. And I've been saying, so finally I had to just say, get her a new computer. And yes, it was painful. And yes, her check deposit thing didn't work. And yes, all this stuff didn't work. But now that it's all fixed, it's faster for me and her.
Problem solved.
Yeah, so, slow computers and downtime is a big thing, right? Managing them Windows updates is huge too. I mean, because, you don't want them doing updates in the middle of the day. You don't want them to have to apply the updates. You need the updates to get applied and computers to be rebooted after hours.
Yep, and do it monthly. You're patching.
Yeah, monthly. Yeah, patch monthly.
At least monthly, I should say.
Yeah.
So then that reboot is 5 minutes, unless it's an old computer.
But you could reboot them at night, or you could reboot them after hours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I mean, if you have a 7-year-old computer, gone are the days where you can rip the hard drive out and put a solid state in, and it's all better.
Yes,
it doesn't work that well anymore.
Not anymore. Nope. Because most computers, and today most computers are coming with solid state drives. The old spinners, the mechanical drives are gone. But thank God, because the SSD drives are so much faster, can retrieve data so much faster, can write data so much faster, lots of memory, can bring it into memory faster, good processors. Businesses don't need businesses don't need downtime. You should have very minimal downtime. And if you're down, then you need to call a IT provider that can help you.
Yeah, and we do this all the time. I mean, like Tony mentioned earlier, we have a hardware lifecycle report, and we go through that with you. And it's really pretty, too. It's actually easy to understand and easy to follow. And the best part is now you can start planning for your future in IT. Like, in 3 years, I'm going to need to start buying these computers. And I know there's costs involved and all that stuff, too, with your account, in accounting. So,
and the other thing, too, right, the hardware lifecycle report can kind of say, hey, this computer's broken. Is it under warranty? Oh, let's get a replacement from Lenovo or Dell or Warranty Master. Or, is the computer, 8 years old and, we're having problems with it. Maybe we should replace it, and get one as soon as possible and get the old one and just recycle it. I mean, that's what, having a report that comes out monthly helps you with that.
Yeah, exactly. And
right.
And maybe you have questions. You're asking yourself, well, what should be my hardware replacement roadmap, in the future? Why don't you just ask us down below and we'll tell you? Or why don't you tell us how you do it? He said 7 years on good PCs. We're 3 to 5 on some of the lower end PCs, mid-tier PCs, but maybe you got a little bit different. And we can get into an argument in the comments and we can have like thousands of comments. That would be sweet.
Yeah.
John would be so happy to answer all those.
Well, yeah, and then the other nice, the other thing too is that business owners tend to think, oh man, I just replaced that computer yesterday, but then when you point out to them that, hey, you purchased this year, the warranty was for 3 years, and the computer's 7 years old. Are you sure? Yeah, it's right here. You know what I
so
mean?
You might so if you bought it last year, you might want to ask, you bought it from.
It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, it's very hard to argue against that. It's right there, clear cut, and again, it looks nice. It's easy to follow. So, yep.
All right. So, hey, guys, let's update your infrastructure. If you're running off the same Comcast modem for the last 10 years and same switches and, in the same firewalls and things like that, you might want to consider looking and getting that fixed. Same thing with computers. If you have computers that are down or, old printers that go like this when they print.
That's right. John, put it down below tip of the week.
Yeah, you might, you might want to get some new printers and get modern.
There we go.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us, and hope to see you next week or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, 2 weeks. See you in 2 weeks.
Thanks.
Take us out, John.
Unique computing solutions. Your IT challenges solved.